So the most important thing is going to be to pull this disconnect. You can take it out completely if you wanted to, and it's disconnected, but just throwing it down also disconnects it. And you're going to remove these nuts one at a time. I suggest a composite wrench. It lessens your likelihood of creating a short, and just loosen all the bolts at one time. So after you loosen the bolts, then you'll go back through and take all the bolts loose one at a time. But you can also start peeling it back, and as you peel it back, it takes the voltage down, down, down. But just do one at a time. After you remove 3 or 4 bolts, you can do another section, and that'll keep this thing as safe as possible. While you're at it, you might get a balance charger, something like this, or this one is good for it's got a resistor in there, and it just does a general test to see what the capacity is, and you can set the capacity wherever you want it. I've got this set for 4 volts, so it's going to measure it, and I'll do one at a time. But something like this is actually a lot faster. Meanwhile, you're going to put all your bolts in one container, throw a degreaser in there, and after you've degreased them, because they got a lot of goo on them, after you degrease them, you're going to throw them in some vinegar. So you got these little tabs here, top, bottom, and left and right, and you're just going to pull on both sides and pry out. But since this one has a lead right here, you do it from the right side and then pull it out from underneath. So pay special attention to your lugs. I haven't cleaned this one yet, but you can see the electrolyte is coming out. So you want to clean all of those with your degreaser first, and then your vinegar, salt, and then you might finish up with baking soda water or just plain water. Now the back side is going to be a lot easier because there's no wires that measure the voltage across the 2 batteries. So these will just pop out, same as the other side, but it's going to be a lot easier. You can do this outside of your car. Alright, after you get all the goo off of them, when you're mixing them around, you'll see that they feel a lot more dry, and they won't be sticking together. So, gonna rinse these off, and then we'll put them in the vinegar. I'm letting them sit in that vinegar for maybe an hour. 20 minutes should be all right, but you can also brush them with toothbrush or wire brush and get all the corrosion off, because that corrosion can cause a lot of air codes. If you're still having trouble getting it clean and you've used the previous methods, you could use a wire wheel. Brass is actually better than steel as it's softer, but steel will work just fine. You're just going to have some scratches in the plating. If you went over this with a really fine sandpaper after the wheel, it'd get you the smoothest possible surface and the most surface area for the electric. After you're done, your part should look something like this. Alright, so you're going to clean these leads up. Make sure you get the back side too. They can get built up on them. This one's been cleaned already, but I haven't gotten this far yet, and you see the buildup that I'm talking about. Now these can unclip, and you can pull these wires out. And the nice thing about these wires is they all are a certain length, so it's very difficult to get these back on the wrong spot. But make sure you pull this one out, clean on the back side, and you're going to use an antioxidant compound. I'm using this is specially formulated for aluminum, but it does fine with copper as well. Alright, so this is the front side with all the leads. Make sure you go up and underneath each of the leads, behind them, behind the bars. This back side is going to be a whole lot easier for you, just front and back on the bus bars and in between the battery. And if you don't have Torque Pro, I highly suggest that you get it. This is the first test right after getting done cleaning everything and driving it around. You see the voltages are still about 0.4 volts out, and it's going to take about 3 different times. But with the Torque Pro, you can see all kinds of settings. You can find out the various coolant temperatures because you have more than one coolant sensor, and it's just a nice thing to have around. And you can also monitor each of the battery blocks. That way, if you do have any problems, you can find out where it is without having to hunt around, and you can see this all in real time. All right, so coming up, we have the after 3 drives, we have the voltage, and you see everything's right back to normal. Anyway, hope this helps. Thanks for watching. See you.